Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower.
With this, and we are live. Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to Health or High Water. This is Brett, Mr. Tripp. Say it. What's up, Tripp?
No.
And Bethany.
Welcome.
We are extremely high energy today.
Yep.
JK, we are not. We've had a lot of great stuff going on. Thank you so much for joining us. If this is your first time, we have had some fantastic episodes of recently. I want to shout us out. Last 3 episodes have been our most downloaded episodes. We've set a record on most countries downloaded. We've set a record on highest views in one day. Record also on most views in 3 episodes. Consecutively,
And week span as well. We are week numbers, and this is I think it's time we definitely take a huge time to thank our audience.
Yeah.
Every single one of you that have downloaded a podcast has really made an impact in all of our lives and given this podcast life and strength. And we just want to thank you guys, the listeners, especially today. Like, we wouldn't be here without you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has been a fantastic journey so far. We reminisce a lot of times about starting this in your basement, essentially, in your laundry room.
We can't even call it that, man.
Yeah, and then we've grown now, and obviously having our own gym, and it's been exciting. And we've had everything from naturopaths to, doctors of physical therapy,
football coaches,
dietitians, football coaches, life coaches, just everything surrounding the health and wellness industry. Every Tuesday and Thursday, pretty much. Can you give a quick shout out? What do we have coming up?
We have some amazing guests coming up. We have a repeat guest coming in, Lance Veneria. If I pronounced that right, sorry, Lance. That's bad. That was terrible. But Lance is going to come on. He is the head coach of the Littleton High School football. He's going to go over his transformative football for teaching young men how to be successful males, which is, I cannot wait for that episode. He went to do a little preview Monday. It's going to be awesome teaching, trying to get kids out of trouble and trying to teach them how to be real men, which is going to be a great episode.
That's awesome. I look forward to that. Let's do a quick little round table here. So with genetics, what's any news at all that you can think of coming up with?
One of the big things we haven't really talked a little about is pharmacogenomics. So everyone out there that's ever had some bad side effects to pharmaceutical drugs or don't know what they need to take, we actually are selling a pharmacogenomics test on our not on our website, but in person or online. So make sure you guys are hitting us up if you guys are taking a lot of different pills or whatnot. Let's get you on the ones that are best for you. There's a lot of science coming into that. I know the hospital down the road is doing that for children's prescriptions now. Mm-hmm. So it's getting out there. So get a test while it's available, and you can find that at www.ascendperformancetraining.com, and just give us a shout out. We'll hook you up. Yeah,
the interesting thing is the genetics is just how in the infancy it's where it's at right now, and to see where it's going, like it's right. Like there's so much you can customize and program and.
Well, it's really interesting that you actually kind of bring that up. So I'm reading a book called Outlived. Mm-hmm. One of the best books I have read to date. Mm-hmm. Amazing. It's about preventative medicine as well as where we're at in healthcare. Mm-hmm. Taking that leap. But basically, I'm going to give you guys a breakdown real quick.
I have heard of it. I recognize the cover. Yeah,
right?
I've heard it's good.
It's so good. So this guy basically breaks down that we've lived in different cycles of health, right? The health 1.0 was when we discovered that there were pathogens or bacteria, that it wasn't God getting us sick.
Yeah.
Right. That was the first step of health. It's like, okay, it's not God's getting us sick. There's other things around us that do this. There's environmental factors. So that's health 1.0. Health 2.0 is when we figured out what was it? How to use pharmacies, not pharmacies, but pills and whatnot.
Pharmaceuticals,
yes. That was the next thing, as well as learning about washing our hands and sanitation. Mm-hmm. Those are two big, sanitation and hygiene. Like those three things were huge for Health 2.0. We realized, listen, we have to keep ourselves healthy and clean. So we've been in that second cycle since late 1800s, kind of.
Yeah, germ theory was 1861.
So, yeah, something along those lines. Mm-hmm. So basically, this book is proposing what Health 3.0 would look like, right? And that's preventative care. Let's talk about things before they happen and live healthier lives, right? We instead of health being an external factor, we are the health. 3.0 is us taking it's a different perspective on health, right? Treating our bodies better, number one thing. Making sure we're getting enough sleep. The book also proposed that the best way to curb dementia and all these other ailments is exercise. There's not eating better. There's nothing better than exercise. Right, so this book has just kind of fascinated me. I know I'm kind of rambling.
Cool.
I apologize.
Stop rambling on your own podcast. That's exciting. So obviously, tons going on there. Bethany from the Pelvic Harmony CO.com.
Yeah.
Check it out. The pelvic floor coach
Yep.
with all the answers to pre-pregnancy, post-pregnancy, how to stay healthy, what to look for, what to watch for, what's important, what's not important, what's going on in your world.
I'm cruising. I'm getting some new patients in. I'm looking into getting into some events this month and next month, so keep an eye on my Instagram for that. I'm taking a course this weekend for just more education, so I'm looking forward to that.
What you
I'm always learning more. So it's detailed about during pregnancy and postpartum for high intensity athletes, and more specifically, like how far can you take them, what should they do, what should they not do, what to watch out for.
Nice. All
of the hormonal changes in relation to exercise and what you should do and not do. So I'm looking forward to that.
What's the deal? Just super short, but I always get worried when I see like 9-month pregnant people or like 8-month pregnant people doing heavy barbell movements. I'm like, oh dear God.
Yeah. If you have a coach working with you and you're building up to it safely, and you have to have the factor of you had an active lifestyle pre-pregnancy, you can't just go into a full workout lifting program during pregnancy with no history of building up to that strength regardless of before you were pregnant. And so that's important to know. If you were unhealthy before, you can't just jump into it. But that's why I'm taking it, to learn more about how to do that safely, because a lot of people who lift don't want to stop for 9 months. They don't want to lose all that strength and progress, but they also want to keep their baby safe and keep themselves safe and have a good delivery. And so you want to have that balance, and I want to be someone who can guide that, you know?
Yeah, and that's something that there's a lot of questions surrounding that. People out there go, well, what is safe? What's not safe? I want to work out. How hard should I work out? So it's fascinating that now people have the opportunity to have answers for that.
Yeah. I like it.
So on my realm and my end, we have some exciting news. We've been working with senior centers and assisted living centers, Tripp and I have. And we've just recently added boxing. We had some requests from Parkinson's patients asking, hey, can we do boxing? So we implemented that, and it is so much fun.
Dude, that was the funnest class
Did they love it?
I have ever been a part of.
I wish I was there. It's so cute.
A lot of smiles, a lot of energy,
We had an audience.
a lot of laughter.
More energy. More energy.
More power. More strength.
More footwork.
And one of the RNs came up, I believe it was to you, Tripp, and
Yeah.
was like, hey, he never does.
Aww.
They're like, he never, and he was just smiling. This guy was smiling, laughing, punching. That's what it's all about. And so it's exciting for us not only to grow that, but to see that we're actually making a solid impact.
Yeah, and it's not just about the physical activity. Like, you could see that they're engaged, they're having fun, and like to see that light back in their eyes. You know, you walk in, a lot of them are sad. They feel like they've been dumped off, and they not take. You know, don't get me wrong. Like, these places are taking great care of these people, but it's not family. You know, and I'm sure they're always missing family. That little bit of distraction is just amazing for them.
Yeah.
You know, one of the older girls I really like, she was she's punching, she was like smiling, like grinning, like yeah, get him.
You're like, who are you picturing in front of you? Tell me.
Maybe you're mad at the husband or something, but dang.
Yeah, it's fun. So we added that class to one of our, and then we have another assisted living center that we're starting boxing at in 2 weeks. So that side of the business is growing. We obviously have Ascend Performance Training, which is a sector of this podcast, Health or High Water, but it's our physical location where we do some sports training. Tripp has some athletes he's working with, just onboarded a new football client. I'm a baseball instructor at Legends Academy. We also have shout out a we're working on a program together with Through the Game, which is a mental health and mental performance company led by Catherine Ames, and Legends, where we're hosting an event together. We're putting those details, so we'll make that announcement. It's very exciting. And then, so we're seeing growth on a lot of different ends. It's been exhausting, hasn't it, Trip?
But it's so rewarding. You know, you wake up, you get to hang out. You know, I consider you guys some of my great friends. You know, like brothers, sisters. Like I get to come to work and hang out with you guys, laugh, get to do what we want to do, and make our own way. And that has been so rewarding. There's days and nights that you know you want to bang your head against the wall and throw yourself off a balcony on fire, but it's worth it waking up the next morning and you know especially making a difference in people's lives. And I called Brett last night, like almost like crying. I was like, I can't believe what we've done. Oh my God, can't believe it. With all this success we've already got. Just using the dog. I'm dog sitting to wipe my nose and. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, it is really good to look back on what you've done because it makes the future worth it. You know, it makes you grateful and grateful that you know what you've done. You know, all this hard work. I mean, dude, a year ago we didn't have a facility. We were still looking for a facility. We were having a hard time. We were trying to, you know, figure out maybe we should get hired at this and do this. No, we got to stick on the path. And you know, now this podcast is blown up. The gym's getting full. Like we're having amazing partnerships with people.
Yeah, it's huge.
Like our network is growing. People believe in us, and you know, I think this. You know, today's podcast is, you know, at least for me, is about being grateful, man. Like, I'm so fucking grateful for you guys and all that we've been through already.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, you have to. It has been incredibly exhausting, isn't that? It kind of like gets closer to what we felt, but we felt the energy from each other every time the other person or somebody else you're working with or a client that they give you the energy. You know, you're always a Google search away from working for somebody else, right? You go on Indeed.com or you go on whatever, and you could find a job any day of the week. They're out there, right?
Yeah.
And they, pay a livable wage.
They'll pay your bills, yeah.
Yeah. And you know, you and I, you're talking about gratefully, but 100% since we started, it's been such hard work. But I see the progress, and I don't know if it was you that showed me a video or maybe I clicked on it or something, but there is no secret. There really is no secret to any success or like growing the business. It's one day at a time. It's one partnership at a time, one client at a time. And yeah, man, I share your sentiment. I'm so grateful.
It's really all this is it's just two parts of hard work and perspective, right? If you can work your tail off and then look back and say like, this is what I messed up on and this is what I need to do better, you'll succeed. Yeah, 100%. There's nothing else to it.
Yeah. I think the big thing too, growing wise, is the opportunity. So you self-reflect, but you are constantly like looking at yourself as I need to improve. I need to be better. I need to do things better from week to week, right? And you can easily get down on yourself and go, I'm not doing well. But I feel like that's part of the natural process.
Yeah, I was reading a book recently, and I like the point that he made. It's kind of just about the comparison thing and not falling into that, but just comparing yourself to your old self and just be better than you were yesterday, better than last week, better than 6 months ago. Even in business, I've gotten into that, just comparing to like other businesses, bigger businesses, and you just can't fall into that.
It's the thief of joy. Who said that? Somebody famous.
Robin Hood?
Was it Robin Hood? It was somebody famous.
Sure was.
No, but it's the truth though. Never in my life have I grown more than when I'm owning a business or working, with growing a business, right? Because you have to look at yourself and you need to put yourself around people that feel the same way. It's like, hey, I might have messed up on this today. I'm going to try this new way tomorrow to make sure I don't do that again, right? You have to surround yourself with those kind of people, or it's not going to work out. If you have a business partner that's a lazy bum or something like that, then you're not going to succeed. You both have to have the same vision, the same purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, and since we started this, we had the idea for changing it has been like an uphill battle. Yeah. Starting out, but it always gives back. Like I said, you're a Google search away from joining forces with some other company. But I feel like for me, I don't know if this is the same as you guys. I think it is, but I feel like for me, like I can never go back
No.
to following someone else's mission. Like as tired as I am all the time, like I mean, my naps are different. Like I enter Narnia. I'll be on the couch and like just in the middle of my day because I break my day up into 2 sections, morning and then evenings. I'm working till 9 at night. Actually later than that, because I do music usually midnight. So I'm usually up from 7 a.m. to midnight working, and then when I'm out, I'm just. But I feel like having a purpose is like the secret to tapping into this energy that you feel more inspired even though you're tired.
You rhymed.
Even you're
Are you that much of a musician you had to do that?
you're a poet and you didn't even know it.
It's true though, there's so many comparisons I make to the protein bar to make sure I'm learning all my lessons, right? Like that for me was a failure, but if I learn from it, it's just a lesson, right? There's so many different things. Like one thing I did wrong is I surrounded myself with not the right people. When I had the protein bar, I didn't pick the right place. I didn't have the right people around me, and this feels different.
What was Tell me about the protein bar. I want to add that to the episode. You mentioned it. I didn't bring it up.
I know. All right, let's
you
dig
were
into
selling.
it.
You were selling protein and snacks. You had a storefront.
Yeah, so it was like a supplement store in the front.
Okay.
But I was selling some stuff that was not quite legal that I didn't know about. It was legal.
Shit.
It was
Good.
like SARMs and hormones. It was really popular back then. I had that in the front, and then the all the way in the back.
Wait, what do you mean you didn't know about it?
Well, the person who sold them to me said that there were a loophole if you put research chemicals on them, which was not the case. So that company got busted down the road.
The protein bar did?
No, the products the company were selling them.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the protein bar.
Yeah, I was just explaining the what was in the front of the shop, and then the back of the shop, I renovated it to be a protein shake bar kind of thing. So I had to get a food safety license and had food inventory. We were my mom, dad, and I and my girlfriend at the time. We were trying to make up shakes for the menu. We had everyone was throwing up by the end of the night. 'Cause we just had so much. But it was a good experience. We made some good shakes out of it.
Nice.
But it was in a terrible location. There was no parking in front. I actually lived upstairs in an apartment above it. So I got no peace at all. I was like, oh, can you grab Chip? My employees were always like knocking on the door. I'm like,
Oh gosh.
no. But I made some mistakes with, who I was hiring, where the money went. I spent a lot of money on pay-per-click campaigns and stuff, and didn't come to fruition. I tried everything about, setting up tents and going places, and it's hard to do it by yourself. And I was pretty alone, I had my employees, but it was just me. So it was a good lesson, and I learned a lot about what to do in small business through that to help with this. But it still feels like an asterisk on my life,
Mm-hmm. How was Stride?
Oh God. You worked for the same company.
Not Stride.
Yeah, but the parent
But the
company.
same parent company, Exponential Fitness, yeah.
Dear God. Talk about sucking your soul. Mm-hmm. I mean, the owners were great. The owners were good. Like, people I worked with were okay. But when we start calling people units, I'm out. Like,
Yeah.
you had a similar experience too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was not fun. Yeah, the lack of I like the idea of some of the niche fitness places. Some of the members had a good time doing it and loved it and swore by it, but I hated the corporate structure. I thought it was terribly money driven. I felt like they motivated people very poorly. Management, they called people general managers when they were just kind of glorified receptionists with like aggressive sales campaigns that were taught very poorly. Yeah.
It was Teddy Roosevelt who said, "Comparison is the thief of joy."
Teddy Roosevelt.
What a guy.
Dude, that guy was a badass.
Yeah.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Badass.
Just so you know. The more you know.
He went on a hunt the morning of his wedding or something like that. Like his wife told him not to, but he couldn't help himself. Came back covered in
blood.
Yeah. I think that's the story. Someone double check and message me back and make sure I'm not talking shit.
Yeah, comparing yourself to other people for sure, especially if you're in different chapters than them. And then going back to your thing, surrounding yourselves with the right people that push you, and managing your gratefulness with, I feel like, being better at what you do all the time.
And just try to better yourself a little bit every day, and by the end of life, hopefully you've bettered yourself enough that you look back and, hey, I did it right. I think it'd be terrible sitting in your deathbed looking back and like, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. I could have done this better. It's like, no, look, have that perspective right now.
Yeah, one of the things I can't stand are excuses. It's like my biggest pet peeve in the entire world are excuses. Like any excuse really just drives me fucking nuts. Like even with myself, even if it like even enters my head, I just can't stand them. They're like, oh, I can't do that because of this. It's just like such an easy way to like take responsibility off what you set your mind to do. I can't do that because this reason.
Right. I hate that. It's so rough. And when you're talking to someone who does it all the time, it's like draining.
Oh my God.
You're like, I can't even help you. I just can't.
Super draining.
They're energy suckers.
Yeah.
They're always blaming someone else for something that went wrong instead of looking at it. Hey, listen, most of everything is your own fault. You know what I mean? Like most of everything is your own fault. The way you act, the way you live your life, it's on you. The right people you bring around, like it's all on you. So it's up to us to be as good as we can every single day and try to better ourselves every day.
There was a book by, Jocko Willink? Do you guys know who that is? Navy SEAL, famous Navy SEAL.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, famous Navy SEAL now, or not now, but I'm saying he's. I wrote a book. I'm trying to think what the name of the book was. I read it. It was Jocko Willink.
Is it 4 Unicorns and a Rainbow?
No, I'm trying to think of the
Prob's
name.
How to Build a Treehouse.
Nope.
And no. It was, but the whole book, the whole premise. Yeah, as Bethany's our new experts. No, we
Except
can't find it.
my computer's being so slow.
Oh, all right. Maybe our internet is out again.
Yeah. Is yours Extreme Ownership?
Yep, that's it. Okay. So it's called Extreme Ownership, and he's doing he teaches a bunch of companies now. But he's a Navy SEAL, ran a lot of Navy SEAL teams, and the secret to his success, which my dad was a Navy pilot, and that's why I like the military. I like a lot of the qualities the military instills in people. But one of the things is extreme ownership. So no matter what happens, like, here's my goal. Here's the goal I want to have. And you're working backwards. Okay, what do I have to do to obtain that goal? So whether it's fitness related, like I want to lose weight, I want to be healthier, I want to, whatever it is, I want to build a business. Working backwards, what are the things I got to do to get there? Obviously, there's going to be obstacles along the way. But developing his purpose or point with it was developing the mentality of every time you handle an obstacle, look at it from a solutions-orientated thinking, and then taking extreme ownership for the failures of your team. So your team, could be your family, whoever's around you, but it's totally absolving excuses. I love that. It's like one of my favorite things. I don't remember why I brought that up, but
Excuses. We were
But taking extreme ownership. So that goes for a fitness journey too. If you're or wanting to work out at the end of a long day, you're tired, or hey, I can't prep meals because X, Y, and Z, or I can't do those excuses are such an unhealthy mentality.
Yes, that's true.
It's a gross mentality, and I found I'd rather spend time with myself than people who continuum those thoughts.
I would say it goes far as say it's almost a sickness, and I'm not kidding, because these people they just get stuck. You know what I mean? They there's no way forward, and there always is. I mean, even if you do make a bad decision or a bad choice, there's always always something at the end of the tunnel there.
It definitely becomes habitual for sure. It's their first reaction to everything.
It's a sickness.
Well, I'm not immune. I mean, I'm not immune to having those thoughts. It happens to me all the time where I have I can't do that because of this. But so it happens to me, but never, never making it a habit. It's never a habit of mine. It's always, okay, what can I work out now? Okay, how can I solve this issue? You know, one of the things, like I laugh because one of the things I always talk about napping. I actually wrote an article about napping, the art of the nap.
Check it out on the blog. It's really good. Go to ascendperformancetraining.com/blog.
The height of your career is this article.
The art.
You're so proud.
I am very proud of the
Good.
nap, and I don't want to hear one thing. I don't want to hear one negative thing about the art of the nap. But you know, Tripp and I talked about this the other day. Is I pride myself in bringing energy to sessions. I don't want to come to a session and be like, all right, I'm here. Like, let's go through the motions. I want to have purpose. I want to have productivity. And sessions are one-on-one. It's not like I can just sit at a desk in front of a computer and kind of pretend to do something. Like, when you're with a client, you have to be there and present. And so, long story short, I have to find a way to bring energy to sessions. So I unplug the computer every day. You know, I sit down and I go, all right. And hopefully it's not as long as other days. You know, maybe sometimes it's 10 minutes. But that's what I have to do in order to... So finding solutions to problems. Okay, take a nap. Okay, prep meals. So it's just always producing that positive thinking has been part of the journey of growing this business, is finding solutions to issues.
Yeah. Something that I've had to make myself think differently. I think such a common excuse is that I didn't have time. And so I will make myself say I didn't make time for it. And that puts it on me instead of just saying I didn't have time, whatever. But I didn't make time for it, and that's my fault.
Yeah, and typically when you have those kind of people and you kind of break through them, like, all right, no, I need your help. When they come in, the first thing you do is you go through their schedule, right? Like the first thing you do, it's like, all right, well, let's find some time. Let's figure out your schedule and make sure you can get on a regiment, because we don't want you to just be here for three months, get your bikini shape in, and then leave. Now, this is supposed to be a lifestyle change, right? We're not in just we're going to get you ripped quick kind of scheme. We're in the long game here. We're in longevity and preventive medicine. Right, and what I loved what you were saying was, you know, the military whatnot is structure. Without good structure, you're gonna fall. So that first step of us looking at their schedule, looking at, you know, what their life is like. You know, do you hang around a bar? Do you know, what are your friends like? Do you get enough sleep? Like asking those like hard hitting questions to make sure that, you know, we get rid of those excuses. Like, well, listen, you got an hour break for lunch. Like, why don't you slam your lunch down for 30 minutes, go on a walk for 30 minutes? You know, like, oh, I don't have money for a gym. Let's go on a walk. Well, I don't have money for healthy food. It's like, well, there's food banks and stuff around here that do have you know, quality, at least decent quality produce. Right? There's a ways around everything, and structure is so important in all forms of your life. You know, time you're spending with your kids, time you're spending on self growth, time you're spending on building your legacy. You know, personally, I've been making an excuse for, I don't know, about a year, because I end up getting rid of Audible, the audiobook.
Oh,
app.
really?
Yeah, app. I used to just read all the time or listen to books at least all the time, and I had to get rid of it. I was like, well, I guess I can't read. And then I gave my excuse. I didn't even look at Spotify until last week, and they have books on there. They have
books, yeah.
And I was like, all right, time to get back into books. There's no excuses, right? And I think that was huge, because every time I have the best ideas when I'm reading, the best. And I kind of felt like mentally numb the past year because I haven't been reading.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy to make excuses. So you hear that? No excuses out there.
There's a book called No Excuses too.
I hope we don't sound too grandiose, because none of us are immune.
Yeah.
I've had my own personal journey with this, and it's an everyday thing. But you know, like you said, having the structure, forcing yourself to be better is always what improves. You know, this always improves as I improve. What else? I think we covered I think today's episode was more, I know Tripp and I were talking and just making this, we've been pretty run thin this week, so just making this episode more just like chill, relaxed, yes.
Discussion.
Anything you want to add, Bethany, to the table of constructive thought to the Health or High Water podcast?
I don't think so. Make sure you are reading, though. I love the productivity that you get from reading consistently, whatever kind of book you want, but like, you know, try to make it productive, not all sci-fi or fantasy or whatever. But yeah, I enjoy reading. I think it's good. Do it.
It's
No
so,
excuse.
It's so healthy for you too.
Yeah.
You know, you like the Outlet book I was reading. Like they talked a lot about mental decognition or whatever, like mental decline or whatnot. And it's because people stop doing things. So, you know what I mean? Like even if you're 80 years old, you can still learn. You can learn something new. Doesn't matter who you are. You have time at least for an audiobook in your car on the way to work. At least. You know, you got to keep growing. School, just because you get out of school doesn't mean you stop learning.
Amen.
What is that word? That's not, there's no way that's a
What?
word.
I know,
Decognition?
No, I totally messed that up.
I just wanted to.
I saved myself because it's mental decline. I was having a hard time finding that word. It was like
It kind of sounded legit.
It sounded like
Yeah,
people.
a word.
Yeah.
Is decognition a word?
It's not.
No. Not yet.
Not yet.
You should patent it. Make
You
millions.
could make it.
Rich.
Could make all the trip words. It felt like it should be a word. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's definitely not a word.
no, I mean it's not even close.
We're not even remotely close. Everyone in this room.
I mean, it has letters.
The letters are in there. You could scramble them up.
Everyone in this room is now more stupid because of your answer. I award you no points and have God mercy. May have God have mercy on your soul. All right, guys. I think that's it for the day. Thank you guys so much for watching Health or High Water. Thank you guys for being a part of our community and helping us grow. This episode wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be doing this for about a year if it wasn't for you guys. So this episode, take this home with you. You guys helped the business grow. You guys helped communities grow. You guys helped us grow, and we are forever grateful for that. Thank you guys.